Today I'm recording a video about The Secret, a treasure hunt. And I'm at Herman's Park. Actually, I'm at Cushenberry Park. And that is the buffalo, right there. That is the bison. That used to stand at the Technical College, and it got moved over here due to the efforts of Grant Cushenberry. He was a doctor, had some community gardens. There used to be a fire pit right there. If you walk across this park, you will count the exact number of trees and the exact number of steps from the culvert where those cars are parked. So I'm now going to start working backwards on The Secret to show you some of the other items that were in the book. So I'm now on 17th Street. I'm coming up to the railroad track. There is featured a railroad track in that image. And here is the railroad track that they are talking about next to the park. It is not in the park, if you will. This is the bridge in front of me is the bridge that is named after the person that settled the case for the Brown versus the Board of Education lawsuit. And that was a significant piece of history that desegregated the schools. That name of that person is Thurgood Marshall. If you look closely in the back of the book, you will see Thurgood Marshall. This is the Monroe School. This is the actual school in which the girl that was cited, or the lawsuit of the Brown versus Board of Education, this is the actual school in which those children went to school. It is the National Historic Site. Look at the detail on the building. Okay, you may notice that there are a few other things in the back of the book, like an alibi elf. You may notice that there are some symbols of the Shriners in that image. Another important factor is that if you look at it, part of the image is darkened out. Well, a tornado came through this area back in 1966 and wiped out half of the town. And so now I am on Kansas Avenue. So I truly believe that each image has within it the street clue or a street clue. Look very closely at the Arab Shriners sign here, okay? Do you see that? Do you see that tassel? Does that not look pretty darn familiar to something else? Now, let's look at the back of the book. In the back of the book, you have the alibi elf. And the alibi elf is standing next to a water tower. And this is the water tower that the alibi elf is standing next to. The next item is that you have to go up a certain number of steps. Well, the number of steps that you need to go up is at the Capitol building, which is in the background here. So I'm following down the Kansas Avenue. I'm stopped where the alibi elf was. A little more information about Topeka, Kansas. The Santa Fe Railroad was actually headquartered in Topeka, Kansas. It was called the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. Okay, Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe, get it? Their building is right up the street here. And so that would explain again your railroad clue. You want to know what the shoes are at 75 in the tree? On the other side of the river, you get to what is known as the Pozes family's Volume Shoe Company. If you remember back in the 1980s, the 70s going on 80s, there was the Payless Shoe Source. That white building over here that building right over there is the Santa Fe Railroad Headquarters building. That is the Santa Fe Railroad building. So the steps that you would need to count are over here at the Capitol building. I'm not going to be able to go exactly over there because I want to take you down to the Jayhawk Motel. You may see a Jayhawker, if you will, in that image, and we will be coming up on the Jayhawk Motel sign that's prominently featured in the image. And so as we continue down this street, there's the Capitol, by the way, which you would have to count the steps going up and down. There's steps getting up to the Capitol. But now that we are at 8th Street, I'm going to show you the Jayhawk Tower. The Jayhawk Tower I just is in the top of the image. I just passed it. You can see it right there. That is the Jayhawk Tower. So the other thing that you have to understand about the image, it has to do with Forbes Field and Daniel Forbes, who was the air place was named after. You also have a Wolf's Pier, because there's probably a wolf in that image, and that is the other significant factor of the why this is in Topeka, Kansas. So the last place I'm going to stop on this tour is up here at one of the oldest, most significant buildings, and I'm going to show that one to you as well. But for those people that think it's in Herman Park, I think you're absolutely right. It's in the Cushenberry Park, next to the Herman Excavating, next to the Buffalo, next to the Bison. The Bison was moved there from the trade school. Look up the trade school that was in Topeka, Kansas. It's now the penitentiary. So the justification there is that the school that once taught African Americans trades ended up being a prison. And the final stopping point on this is on the building at 5th Street, which includes the symbols that are at the top of this building. That's the post office building. That is the building in which the Brown versus Board of Education trial was held.